this sesshin is dedicated to Bodhidharma. And Bodhidharma was an important founder of our school because he faced a rock wall for 9 years. And in 1987, I was able to go and see this cave that Bodhidharma sat in. And it's quite amazing because it's very true and real, and there's millions of people that go to Bodhidharma's cave. It's cut into like a mountain, and it's there's thousands of steps that go up to this. I think it's called Shaoxi Peak, is the peak, and of course the Bodhidharma's cave below it then is the Shaolin Temple, and emperor made actually the Shaolin Temple for the practice of Kung Fu. Out of all the millions of monks and Zen practitioners that practiced hundreds of years before Bodhidharma came from India to China, he's actually the one that has had the most impact and is known to bring actually, you would say, to establish Zen in China, and that's actually part of our lineage is this wall gazing, is facing a wall. He was born in 440, and then someone poisoned him in 528 because it was a jealous monk that poisoned Bodhidharma, because I think during that time he was doing something very radical, and the practice of Zen during that time, it was corrupt, and the practice merged actually, of course, with the government, and the more temples that one would have, or if they're part of being a monk, then they would get more money for that. So there was a lot of vying to be a Zen practitioner in those days. But Bodhidharma, he was very unique because he pointed to actually what is the true mind. What is your true mind? So it's not becoming something other than yourself, but actually Zen is actually sitting. Zen is actually everything that you do. Zen is not thinking, and so he did something different in those days that other people weren't doing, and so this is the main reason why we practice for many hours. When 2011, when I was at Eiheiji, it's a monastery in Japan, and then there's the first week is called Tangario, and Tangario was kind of it was very difficult. There was very strenuous. So from the very morning, when you would get up from your eating, sleeping, using the bathroom, how you hung your towels, everything. There was a prescribed form that you would do, and actually there would be a supervisor that looks at the whole group doing it. It's probably much like the military. And Eiheiji is very dark, and it's huge, and a lot of times you don't even know what time of the day it is because it's so dark inside. I remember doing oryoki. We would sit on top of the tan doing oryoki, and we'd have to do it very, very strictly. And if you didn't, then you get a penalty, or you get yelled at how you actually hold your bowl, how your kesa is on, how you wear your kesa, how you handle your utensils. So it's very difficult, and large part of the day was doing what was exactly in front of you, and you would do it wholeheartedly, just what is in front of you, like cleaning, eating, sleeping. And I remember then at the end of Tangario, they actually during back then they didn't let you change your underwear for the whole week. And I think now they do. And at the end, then we entered as a group of 7. There was 7 of us that entered as a group. So there would be maybe sets of, depending whether it's springtime or fall, that there would be maybe 7 groups of maybe 10, or but this was the fall time, so there's very, very few of us that entered. And at the very end of Tangario, then we took a hot bath, and I remember going into the hot bath, and it was it was just a very deep feeling. And then after the hot bath, we shaved our heads again because all the hair grows out. So a person helps you shave your head, and then we go upstairs to this room, and they put these oranges on the table, and we're trained not to. We have to do everything together, and I remember all of us cried because it was such a very deep feeling, and the Dogen says that, I think there's a term, it's called that we're just a skin bag, right? We have a skin bag, and it's basically it's this thing that's wrapped in skin, and then it has 2 holes, and so inside it smells a lot, and So the sitting is extremely, extremely important because it shows you, at Eiheiji, you find out that you would like to, you're the one that likes to go to sleep before everyone else because, or I would like to eat more than anybody else. So you find actually all the sides of yourself that you don't see in normal life. And this is actually this is what Bodhidharma did, was face the rock wall, and you can see actually how much you smell. Yeah. So there's two things that happen simultaneously when we sit in Zazen. It's maybe I can so the two things that happen in Zazen is waking up. Oh, it's actually waking up. There's, let me read this. I think that I have it here. Just kind of skip around because I wrote a lot of notes this morning. A monk asked Xiang Lin, "What is the meaning of Bodhidharma coming from the West?" And Xiang Lin said, "Sitting for a long time becomes tiresome." And this is a great thing because when we sit, we actually are. That's one of the things, is that we wake up to actually the reality, this very one reality that is in front of us. And so you're thinking whatever thoughts that you have, they come and go, which is the smell of our ego-centeredness. It's the smell of our ego-centeredness. When it comes up, then we let go, and then we actually wake up to the reality in front of us. And when we wake up to the reality in front of us, then we know actually how interconnected we are to actually everything else. So this is an interdependence, and the self becomes then merged with everything around you and all human beings. So it's not this, when we wake up, past our simultaneously you smell, and also you're waking up at the same time. There's a phrase in Dogen's Flowers of Space. It's called Kuge, and Dogen wrote this at Kipoji, or actually Koen Eja rewrote it, his student, at Kipoji in 1244. So it goes, a single flower blooms, 5 petals open, and fruit ripens by itself. Learn through your practice the moment when the flower blooms, as well as its form and color in the light. The flower's body is 5 petals, and the blooming of 5 petals is a flower. The standard of the single flower comes from Bodhidharma's verse. Originally, I came to this land to transmit the Dharma and liberate deluded sentient beings. Now, this is a kind of an interesting one. So when we sit zazen, you could say that zazen is life, and that all the parts of our body, you could say the arms, you could say the legs, the head, are all parts of zazen, but we only see it as one thing, as just the posture of zazen. But when we look at these parts, that there's these parts that make up the body of zazen. There's the hands, the shoulder, all these parts, when they function together, and they work with each other, and they become interconnected with each other. But usually we just see them as separate from one another, and then they're separate. So that's when the egocentric self comes up, and that's when you're separated actually from life itself. So when we wake up, and when we come to this reality of just sitting, so we have it happens at the same time. It's the realization of your stinking attitude. It's the realization of this self. That's reality. Reality is showing the realization of this self, and that goes beyond. Then it starts to touch. Then it's the realization of reality, in which then you're one body with everything that's in front of you and back. So this one body is actually then the emptiness. This emptiness is the interconnectedness of all things that we realize. But a lot of times, when we're separate, we have the idea, like in the evening, we vow to save all sentient beings, and that's what Bodhidharma, he went to China, right? So he can actually transmit the Dharma and liberate deluded sentient beings. You would say that's pretty arrogant. Or it's an arrogant way to save. We say that we save all sentient beings. But it's not this, the Bodhidharma, the Bodhisattva's practice is actually the practice of Zazen, which is waking up to this reality. When we wake up to this reality, then there is no other than this reality of waking up. There's a small paragraph I'll read. Let's see here. The king of samadhi, samadhi. This is Dogen's writing about zazen. To sit is to take a leap straight away, transcending the entire world, and to find oneself within the exceedingly sublime quarters of the Buddhas and ancestors. To sit is to trample over the heads of all the devil heretics and become the person within the Buddha's and ancestors' innermost precincts. This Dharma and this alone is the way to transcend the highest reaches of the Buddhas and ancestors. It is for this reason that Buddhas and ancestors practice it and never exert their efforts elsewhere. You should know that the total world of sitting is far different from all other total worlds. In penetrating the true nature of this difference, you discern and affirm the arising of the religious mind, the practice, enlightenment, and nirvana of the Buddhas and ancestors. A single flower blooms, 5 petals open, and fruit ripens by itself. Learn through your practice the moment when the flower blooms, as well as its form and color in the light. The flower's body is 5 petals, and the blooming of 5 petals is a flower. Originally, I came to this land to transmit the Dharma and liberate deluded sentient beings. So this statement is not what it seems like, but it's originally I came to this land, meaning that actually Bodhidharma didn't go anywhere. There's another, let's see here. In Dogen's One Bright Pearl, there's a quote here that Bodhidharma didn't even come to the east, nor the ancestors did not go to the west. So there was actually nothing that was transmitted, and then also everything was transmitted, because the one body of Bodhidharma is actually everything when he was realized. So let's see. So there's a quote that Dogen when he returned from China in 1227, when he returned from China to Japan, usually people brought back certificates from China to see what they learned, but Dogen said, I didn't learn anything, that the eyes are horizontal, and then that the nose is vertical. when the sitting then is an absolute, that the absolute then covers the entire world and actually everything. So it is, when we sit, it's again, it's the simplicity of waking up to actually this very moment right in front of us. And at the same time, then it's realizing this stinky egocentric self that actually we sit with. And so this is the kind of, you would say, I originally came to this land when Bodhidharma said that this is actually the path of a bodhisattva, is to practice and realization, but it's this waking up to actually reality in front of us. So something that's very simple, but it's very, very deep and profound. Yeah. Does anyone have any comments or questions that you may have, or anything that you want to share? This is just what kind of came up for me when I started to look into Bodhidharma's practice.
You mentioned the first of the vows. Sentient beings are numberless. I vow to save them all.
Yeah.
You said that sounds arrogant.
Yeah.
Could you expand a little bit on that?
Well, I mean, if we're separate, if we think that we're a separate entity, right? Then we think that we have this right. If we're let's see. Oh, if you have money and you see people in need, you want to give them money. You know, so that's maybe it is a good way, right? But if we, when we practice and we have this the feeling of waking up to reality, and then also being one and interconnected, how we affect all things, that actually we are, there's actually nothing to be saved. And it's actually the self is to be saved, but in a different way. Saved is not like helping, but then you cannot help, but then help yourself. You know, so a bodhisattva in a way in the world, then you want to share this feeling that you would, I don't know, that you would have for yourself, but there's something that happens when you sit and actually you digest this stinky self. You realize it, and also you realize, so realizing it, the self, the deluded self is realized in activity, it's realized, so therefore it realizes itself, so then it's not delusional, it's reality itself. Then there's also realizing it, there's an awakening that, whoa, that self is kind of strange. And it's very deluded. And when we see that, then we cannot help but feel it's I don't want to say ashamed, but you want to then through this digesting it, and through this cooking, you know, you share it then with other people. You share something that's very deep with other people that is connected with the self. You know, it could be offering, you know, a cup of water to somebody. It could be just actually, it's connecting with somebody. You know, so it doesn't have to be large, it doesn't have to be large or small, but whatever you can do then is you're connected because it's you yourself that you're encountering. So it's not like you're saving. We're not going out to save, but when we wake up to reality, then that's actually the one body that is the liberation of the greed, anger, and ignorance.
So
You know,
when
so
you're,
you would say being one with, you would say being one with,
yeah, okay.
you know, yeah,
So the
yeah,
English saving
yeah,
is not coming from an egocentric point of view,
yeah,
but you're not going to be saving anybody until you wake up yourself.
yeah. So it's this, well, at the same time, just sitting itself is this diluted part coming up and this awakening at the same time. So it's different. It's different that way. Not trying to get rid of delusion, you know, but it's actually the realization of the diluted part itself that is the saving. Yeah. So it's being you would say being one with, but this one with then is just the true reality that's in front of us. It's a true reality, and when it's a true reality, it's just one sitting means one means one sitting. It's the entire universe that covers this one sitting.
Okay, so
Yeah.
then the ordinary English that's
Yeah.
in that phrase
Yeah.
doesn't apply.
Well, I mean, whenever you talk about something, then you miss, we miss it, but we have to talk about something.
All right.
So here
it
we
sounds
go.
a little bit misleading,
Yeah.
is what I'm saying. I mean, there's other ways of translating
Yeah.
it, as I'm sure you're aware.
Yeah. But this saving or this going to or doing something, then actually there's nothing to do. But then there's a lot to do, because you have this egocentric side, and then you would have this awakening side, or you would say the fundamental base in which it comes from. And that's the intersection, all the intersection. Every day of your life you come to this intersection, you hold the door, you're in a rush, or you're angry. What should you do? That's that intersection, is what should you do, you know? That's the Bodhidharma. Why did Bodhidharma come to the West? Or why? And the guy said, "Oh, just sit. I'm tired." It's that the intersection is the ego, the stinky self coming up, and at the same time is this awakened way. But this way of living then is the way of a bodhisattva or a way of a Buddha. You know, it's a lot different than, you would say, regular way of life condition. Yeah.
So what I hear is like this is a stinky self actually in a sitting repent. Right? So the more, so the sitting itself is repenting. So, but you are not repenting in an intellectual sense. You actually don't know quite what you are doing, right? But yet, it's an act of repenting to sit down. So what you're doing at that moment is that you imitate Shakyamuni. Right? He woke up by sitting down. So with your body, you you imitate Shakyamuni, and then with this stinky self, which is quite good thing, you actually repent. So you so it's this body and mind actually live out itself. Right.
Mm.
That's what I hear.
Yeah.
Bodhidharma's time,
Huh? Can you speak up?
Yeah, so I don't know Bodhidharma's story, but from what you say, it sounds like in his time the Zen was stinking, so he went off to practice.
He.
Was it not?
Well, I don't think humans have changed at all during the thousands of years up to now.
Yeah, but so how does that relate to one body? Him relating to the system, and then him going to
Say that again.
So how does that relate to the one body? Bodhidharma had to bring his own practice through.
Yeah.
He didn't have temples to rely on.
Yeah. He sat zazen. Yeah.
But how do you navigate that choice or that?
Maybe I'm not understanding your question.
It wasn't hard. Bodhidharma didn't go to China to save anybody. He was sent there by his teacher. He was requested to go there by his teacher. It was out of a deep love and respect for his teacher that he was compelled to go with the winds. I think that's kind of the gist of it.
Yeah. So at the same time, also it's not he didn't go then to save all sentient beings, but it was something that he just did. And also this coming and this coming and going, he didn't even also need to go, because in an arrogant way you could say, oh, the Dharma was already Dharma. You can't fabricate the Dharma. So when we read this, we come from a separate self, like going from here to there. That's another one. But when it's waking up to the true reality of this self, then that's actually the waking up to true reality. So it's not necessarily coming from the West, or why did it come from the West, but it's actually basically just waking up. It's basically just waking up. Yeah.
Not sure.
Okay, I think that's good.